Thank you for remaining with us. And joining me tonight to take a look at issues arising 32 days before February 25, 2023 is a political analyst who was a senior research fellow with the Center for Igbo Studies, a senior lecturer in the School of Humanities at Abia State University, Uturu. In 1998, he was forced to abandon his career on account of his fifth detention by the late General Sani Abacha's military junta. He published over 21 books on crucial issues. It's Dr. Udenta Udenta. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight, Dr.
Ijeoma, it's a pleasure to be with you as always.
Yeah. Let's look at what's playing out now. What can you say of the electioneering coming from the 18 candidates that are going into this contest?
This is a high season of politics and canvassing for votes and the search for power. Pundits, analysts, experts, discussion groups, operatives, strategies are all weighing in. And the candidates themselves are all over the country, traversing. The outcome is going to be very clear. Election will take place 25th February. A winner will be announced. And as an analyst who has been part of Nigerian political process for a very long time, from Eastern Made Union to Nadeko in the pro-democracy days, to being the founding secretary of Alliance for Democracy, I have my way of reading the political tea leaves of the time. And my own impression based on predictive models, anybody who looks at the data closely will tell me, is that the candidate of the People Democratic Party, Atiku will win the election. Labour Party candidate will do well. What will be embarrassing to the nation is if APC does well. That's my first take. Because you see, election is a condition of outcomes, preferences and choices. And it's based on practical material conditions of the time. If you look at the message coming out from the introduction, which you put out there, and others even not captured, it's crucial for us to understand the state of the nation today. And this election is very historic and very important. So Nigerians are, in a way, attuned to not making choices that they're going to regret. In 2015, there was a mantra of change. That change has led us to where we are. APC played politics and won, and played politics for 8 years. That's why they lost the nation and lost the soul of the country and the people. That is why I believe, based on all the variables I've always been analyzing for some time, I think is a steady hand that is going to orchestrate some sort of momentum built around him. The geography and demography of the country favors him. The abject performance of APC equally favors him. So with the Labour Party, SDP, and other parties too. The critical mass that is going to be the deciding factor is that sense of balance. Politics is always a mean thing. In the US politics, British politics have a balance at the center. There's a disruption on the left and disruption on the right. What we witnessed for the past 8 years is monumental, atavistic and destructive kind of disruption. The country may not be ready for positive disruption that Labour is going to bring in. It may be the shock, may be too heavy for the system to take. So when people think with their head across the country, they will decide that Atiku is a steady hand. Is somebody who's going to be a transitional president, as powerful as you like him to be. That transition is going to correct the structural and institutional imbalances built into the system, orchestrated by the APC. At the same time now, leave a legacy from where the energy of the youth, the energy of the discontented, and the sense of historical restitution that the Southeast craves may well come to fruition. That is the message that goes to the head. So politics is a politics of logic and rationality. The problem we're going to have is if the logic of irrational politics were to sway, and Bola Tinubu of APC somehow or the other steals the election.
Why do you see that as a problem? The APC is an incumbent power.
It's a problem because on several platforms I've been at, I just took a close look at one item. 2 or 3 days ago, I was on a TV show, and I nearly made it. I nearly never made it to the studio. Why? Because I was blocked by vehicles surging around me, seeking for fuel. And I saw thousands of pieces of people looking forlorn and desperate and sad. These are Nigerians who seem defeated because the government is clueless and has come to its wit end. Petroleum product, PMS particularly, is produced in this country. Even if we do not have the capacity to refine to capacity, the importation is not a rocket science. So for 13 odd months, misery has been inflicted on the people of this country. It is not me saying so on studio. It is out there in the street. The government has come to its wits end. That means there is no other strategic formulation to solve the problem. That is the legacy of this government in one particular critical direction. That is the inheritance of all Tinubu and APC. That's what they're going to run on. Tinubu will run on the legacy of Muhammad Buhari and the APC government. It's going to be the third term of Muhammad Buhari for his vision to be grounded. That vision is incessant, 13 months, absence of PMS, selling between 250 to 500 naira a litre. That is one score alone. If you look at insecurity, by 2014-2015, the domestic franchise of Boko Haram had been limited by the Jonathan government. I'm a student of conflict studies. I headed the conflict management portfolio in the presidency for 8 years. So I know what I'm talking about. The domestic self-building structures have been evacuated. The Maghreb, where the Boko Haram elements with ISWAP were flowing in, was from Libya, which has suffered state collapse. So Northeast was actually the most dangerous part of the country then. Today, what do you say? Northwest is ravaged by terrorist banditry. North Central, the same thing. Southeast, of course, separatist agitation with so many franchises, criminalities embedded into the state actors, non-state actors, creating a culture of mayhem, destabilizing even the electoral process itself. Go to the South-South, oil production moved from 1.8 million barrels a day to some time in the past 6-7 months, 600,000 barrels a day. The economy was tanking. Southwest, you have some intimations to Yoruba nation, agitation for separatist self-determination there. So the country was virtually lost. The fault lines were exploding every day. Ungoverned spaces were competing with governed spaces in terms of size. So the breadth of the country as a coherent force was being lost. There is no way on this score, even alone, a candidate of the APC will win election. It's a practical situation.
Dr. Udenta, we've listened to some persons say that this problem didn't start today, because when you talk about rot, the rot will not just start today and then you start experiencing it. Even the APC had many times come to us to tell us that, yes, this problem did not start today. We've also listened to Nigerians who are not APC members also raise that same opinion, that the problem started from the PDP government. So when you are saying that it will be an embarrassment for the APC to return, the people start asking questions. What about the past? They said from the head, when it's rotting, the entire body will become, exactly. So if it started before the APC government, do you not blame them for what we are going through?
Okay, the question we're taking, even in the US and Britain and Europe, the so-called advanced democracies, why do people compete for power? It's because of incompleteness of the developmental process. Obama did his bit and handed over to somebody else, who did his own bit and handed over. But the idea is incremental change. If you met 2% insecurity, you reduce it to 1. If you met 40% corruption, you reduce it to 20. If you met 20% poverty, you reduce it to 10. If out of school children is only like 15% of the children population, you get it down to 10. But if you met insecurity in one zone and the entire country is confused by insecurity, you have failed. You won't blame the guy who was just one zone insecurity. If the poverty, especially multi-dimensional poverty, in the country has escalated to the point in which 60-70% Nigerians are poor, and it didn't make them 60% poor. If you made the economy as robust and the first in Africa, the biggest in Africa, in breadth and depth, and you shrunk it to an economy that is no longer functional in any coherent sense of the word, you have failed. If you met the naira at 180 naira to $1, and it is now 700 something to $1, you have failed. You're not going to blame the guy who lived at 180, which is not very fine. You've not solved the problem, you've multiplied the problem. So the crisis of governance is the intensification of the difficulties the country is passing through for the past 8 years. So you cannot come and say PDP did, the military did, Zik and Awolowo and Tafawa Balewa did 60 years ago. No. They built something for you to build on. If you didn't build on it, then it means you have failed in an abject sense of the term. That is why it is only the politics of logic and irrationality that will propel APC to any good showing. My prediction, not because Bukola Saraki, former Senate President, was at a studio somewhere said, APC can't win beyond the Southwest. If it's going to win, they have to work extra hard. Because people are very enlightened. People are very susceptible to tendencies. People are looking at civilizational model to say, what kind of government is this? And what kind of government will this government produce or spawn? If you look at APC in the North, it is rapidly crumbling. It may not be there before everybody's eyes. The tectonic shift in the North is beginning to occur because of demography and geography. The Southeast and South is already locked away from the party. The DNA is not embedded there. So the spiritual epicenter of the party, because of primordial loyalties in the Southwest, and it will struggle to win there. There is no way Nigerians will be rewarded with such a victory. And if you look at the personalities who are running this show, you take Atiku, for example, with all the sense of death, the sense of anger thrown at him, the sense of sleaze poured on him, he's received it with equanimity of heart. If you look at P2B, I said in a different studio that when Soludo had some tough words, maybe labor of love words, what did he say? I was a trader as a governor. You're a professor. Do better than me. That is a sense of comportment and composure. When Tracy, the businessman, equally said, he can win. It's not important for you to be this. Some other person will win. He said, he's a respected Nigerian leader. These are the two people contending for power. How about the third one? Look at that tape from Ogun State, the Milokun tape, the Lehi with which he described Dakbo Abiodun, a sitting governor, where he talked about a general crying like a baby. That is the president of this country. He's fallen, dejected. I nursed him back to political life. I handed the presidency over to him. That kind of temperament is not something we're looking for at this critical stage in our national transformation. So for me, even within the entrails and bowels of power, if you look at the nerve tying the umbilicus of this government to its future destiny, the fear that should grip Muhammad Buhari and his close associates, not from PDP and from Labour, maybe from Mbiloku, because that sense of entitlement, that sense of bitterness, that sense of intolerance is not something I'm going to be very comfortable with, no matter the party I belong to.
Are those not language for politics? Are they not acceptable when it comes to politics?
When you are battling with ideological opponents, when you're canvassing for vote and you're tackling the PDP, you may have tough words for them. When you're going to be a beneficiary of the magnanimity of the sitting president of your own party, who is actually the leader of the party, and you talk about the general crying bitterly, and you alone giving him power, a man who has been winning votes in the north and across the country, 12 million, 9 million, and so on. I should pause, even from the president from the north. What is coming my way? We may wear the same uniform as party people, but the heart may be different. That is why friends of Bola Tinubu, including myself, who knows me a long time ago, when I met him in 1998 as the Secretary of Alliance for Democracy, I was in charge of the party administrative machine. I was the boss of the whole organism. And I have the records. That's not the man we knew then. So this is going to be a patriotic call of duty of proud Nigerian statesmen and women to rise to this occasion. That beyond the intimations of partisanship, beyond the motivations and view of power, beyond ideological sermonizing and phrase-mongering, we should be very careful how this election pans out. The disruptive energy of the Nigerian youth and discontented elite, the search for institutional justice, peace, equity in the Southeast, all embodied at the trajectory of the Labour Party are very important positive developments. Okay. But today, this current election belongs to Atiku Abubakar for him to stabilize the country before that restructuring can occur in future.
Dr. Udenta, let's take a look at party politics for now. Because in the ballots, Bola Tinubu, Atiku, or Obi's name will not be on the ballots. It is a political party that will be on the ballots. And if the APC controls a large number of states in Nigeria, would they just let go of their state, the state that they control, because they feel that, according to you, their candidate is not patient enough?
Okay, not patient. I mean, when you talk about fitness, not in terms of any moral issues or moral categories, but in terms of, the sense of preparation may not be, I was a governor before, I produced leaders, which is important. But the sense of total fitness, which is mental acuity, very important in terms of sensibility and sense of tolerance is very vital. Now, you can't separate the party from the individual. So Nigerians who are out there must tie these two together. But let me give you an example. A lot of pundits have watched those from the PDP. Bukola Saraki, Sita Chidoka, or someone like Chenny that said, Obi will likely win the Southeast. He will win the Southeast without a governor, without a senator, without a rep, without a single chairman of a local government. Why will you win? Why is he hugely popular in the Southeast? He has tapped something at the heart of the people. That is geography and demography. It's part of whatever beautiful ideas he may have. Atiku has his own geography and demography. You can't deny him what you have to give him to others. If the people say he's a turn of me and the Southwest, the North will be watching and say, okay, that is powerful words coming from you. We have our son who is contesting this election.
Even the ones that are in his party,
they have to find a way, the way they behave, because if you have a zone like the Southeast without a single person for Labour who is in institutional position, and everyone acknowledges the preponderance of evidence favors him to win or do very well. Preponderance of data, analytics, when you look at predictive models, favor Atiku to sweep the North. And you can see the shift occurring, not just in terms of human beings, they camping here and there. I thought initially that the movement, the charismatic movement unleashed by one person of NNPP would be all over the North now. But it seems to be contracted. I don't know for what reason. Maybe the hens are coming home to roost. Maybe this is the home stretch time. And home stretch means as much as our heart that pumps the engine of our existence, but that reposes the emotions, is powerful. The head is where the logicality of thought and vision reposes. When election comes near, people begin that their heart will yield to their head. That means I, as a proud Igbo person, am passionate about this energy being thrown around by the Labour Party. That is important to say. But my head will guide me. That is why people in the North, their head will guide them to say, what is one person doing here? I'm not going to run anybody down, but I'm saying, what is the business? What are the chances? You talked about it in the introduction.
Yes.
The chances, the preferences, the choices and everything. They begin to understand that geography and demography, these are primal screams, primal instincts. As I said somewhere else, the Enlightenment spirit is going to guide our future conversations and dialogue in politics. What do I mean? The sense of modernity, rationality, and reason. But for now, primordial loyalties will define this context. That is why APC will be pinned down to the Southwest. There's no other zone they will win.
Dr. Udenta, I know you're looking at these primordial issues and all that. The people in the grassroots are those who vote.
Absolutely.
Good. And if they already have a structure in the states, you begin to take it. Someone will ask a question that this one you're saying that the APC will not make the ballot may not just be true.
They say that
because they have large structure.
You know what they say? When all is said and done in politics, when expectations are very high, when motives are out there in the field, and when energy rushes and the people are competing in a very vigorous manner, sometimes in a very tense atmosphere, exit polls will be manufactured by pundits and experts. By 6 p.m., 7 p.m., when the election is over, they will go up in smoke. The behavior of the voter, not the governor, in the north, in the east, in the west, will count.
All right.
And they know exactly when a hen traverses the land, the earth, by evening time, it comes home to roost.
All right, we'll come back to you, Dr. Udenta. Let's quickly take this break and take more political stories. The former spokesman of the PDP addressed the media today. He's also one of the spokesmen of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. So let's listen to Kola Olobodiyo, what he has to say. Thank you for still remaining with us. Before we go, we'll take your messages. You can follow us on our handle at Ijeoma. Drop your comments before we'll say a good night on the program tonight. But let's quickly come back to the studio. Dr. Udenta, you know, I've been wondering and looking at the statement you made about if the APC clinches the victory come February 25, it will be an embarrassing
to the country,
embarrassment to the country. But you know, I asked the question. The APC is the incumbent power. They are still in power, and they are still there. But if you take a look at those on the other side, they tell you that the calculation favors them. Just like you are saying the calculation favors either Atiku or the Labour Party candidates. But they are insisting that, one, they have states in the north with governors.
Okay. Now,
yes.
Now, Ijeoma, now, I define politics in two broad contexts. The primal or primordial, irrational, illogical side of politics that can throw up anything. Then the rational, coldly calculating, logical dimension of politics. And everything is a condition of material effect. What is the economy like? What's the living standard like? PMS is the most vital product people use every day, both for electricity, both for the vehicular movement, both for the home and everything. Offices, businesses, hospitals. 30 months across the country. You've not seen it. Then you go to the ballot box and say because there's a governor of APC in a state, you vote for such a party and for such a candidate, or on such a legacy. What's the state of poverty? Multi-dimensional poverty, the new term now in town. What is it? The level, poverty capital of the world, out of school children, insecurity. these things will trump. There's so many governors you have in the north, in the west, and elsewhere. The critical thing is that Nigerians will need to be educated. That is the sense of manly responsibility of people like us. As patriots who have given out to the country, suffered detention multiple times, as we put that in your intro, founded this republic, played crucial, fundamental role in founding this republic at the level of the front row. If I don't speak out now, when will I speak out?
But Dr. Udenta, you've seen elections before now.
I've seen several.
You've seen the first, second republic.
Absolutely.
You've seen the beginning of the fourth republic election, the 2011 election.
Yes.
And if you take a look at the indices of voting, the pattern of voting
yes.
from the different regions,
yes.
would you not say that this election will not favor the APC
I say
candidates?
predictive outcome based on data analytics. What
Okay,
you
that
see
is available now.
Yeah, available
that
now.
Is available now.
If you look at 1999, I can give you a summary. 1999.
Yes.
The country was coming from a very convulsive place. The space was racked by political uncertainty and instability, even the loss of nationhood. Apache died, Abiola died. So when he came in, stepped in interregional force, established democracy. There was a elite consensus. I urge for national consensus beyond elite consensus. I was part of that elite consensus, being Secretary of Alliance for Democrats, Secretary of ADAPP, Alliance Committee. PDP had their own. So put that together and invested it in a patriot like Obasanjo. It was easy election to win. We lost, but we accepted it. 2003 was a relaunch for him, second term. And he did fairly well in the first term. Economy was booming. Nigeria had come back to the Committee of Nations. Our pariah status had ended. Atiku was the vice president. He was actually both formally and informally galvanizing the economy as the president was traveling the whole world. So the party was rewarded. 2007 was not as beautiful an election as 1999 and 2003. That's why when he emerged, said, I detected fundamental flaws and I'll live a better election before I finish. He didn't complete that, but there was a new electoral act 2010, better than the one that produced Obasanjo. Jonathan came on board and did the best he could. His own presidency unraveled 2015 because of messaging. That's the way I look at it, being an expert, not because of what he did. Look at the level of the economy, look at the robustness of the economy, look at the way he tackled insecurity, and so on. But he lost. Now he had incumbent Buhari with a solid base in the north. You can't deny him that. 2003, he won millions of votes in the north without a governor, without the senator, without the rep.
So that means there's a possibility.
I'm saying that means that
yes.
in the north, even when the PDP had very few governors, Bauchi, Taraba, Benue, Sokoto, and Adamawa, and maybe one other if I'm not mistaken, the party has the capacity to sweep the entire north because, as I said, Enlightenment, modernist spirit will tell you, don't look at primordial things like where do you come from, what is in their location, geography, demography. It will play out as a fact of our life. That is why Obi is bottling in the southeast. So that is why Tinubu is going to do in the southwest.
But look, looking at Obi's own, because if you see what is happening now, the Nigerian youth, they make up the large population of registered voters today. And if you talk to 10 of them, 8 of them will tell you they are going for Labour Party. And you made a statement that as at that time when Buhari won, he had no governor in the north. But at least he also he swept the entire north. Is it not also possible that that may also play out in this election?
I spoke extensively about what I call an incomplete revolution.
Okay.
Incomplete revolution is a process that is organic, disruptive, like an eruption. But it has a season to complete itself. Buhari entered politics 2001, not 1999, 2001. He built this thing for 2 years. By 2003, he was a candidate of a major party. Don't forget, AMPP, as the party then was. With about 9 governors in 1999, that infrastructure had already been built there. Even when he now left for CPC, there was that background that has a lot of infrastructure been built around the north and elsewhere in favor of his own candidacy. But it took 2 years to build from 2000 to 2003. It took again another 2-3 years to relaunch in 2007. Even when he said after the 3rd run, I will not do it again, he now inherited an apparatus that gave him a commanding followership in terms of the apparatus that could lead across the country. When it comes to labor, as I said, a revisionary process that is incomplete means it has been initiated. Sense of initiation is vital, but sense of completion is not vital because it's vital too. What happens is that 2023, 24, 25, if Obi sticks with his promise and message, Labour Party endures and grows in stature, he could complete that process in 2027.
Right. Dr. Udenta, our time is not our friend. I do hope we'll have more time to continue the discussion, because I would like us to always look at the indices and how it's playing out. Because every week, it may even change next week.
Absolutely. As I said, what the data gives us today is what is out in the field.
Okay.
And all the parties want to do, concentrate and concretize the data as they are. If they concretize it like PDP, Atiku will win.
All right, let's